Hey everyone, Crow here again, and you may have noticed that over the last 8 or 9 months, I've been playing a lot of Pinball FX2 by Zen Studios. Well, I'm finally at the point where I've played all the tables available. Well, that is to say, the tables available for the Steam version of Pinball FX2 as of the end of 2016. So I thought it might be interesting to try and rank my top 10 favorite Pinball FX2 tables. So before I get started, I just want to clarify the only tables eligible to be on this list are the 69 tables that are currently available for the Steam version of Pinball FX2 that were released in 2016 or before. I know that there were some older tables that were available on other platforms one way or another that are simply not available on Steam. And some of these tables aren't even accessible at all unless you've already bought them and transferred them from Pinball FX or Zen Pinball. So it's best not to consider them at all, and honestly, I don't think any of them would be on this list anyway. One last thing before we get started, I pretty much selected the tables based on how much fun I had playing them, and although there may be other factors in my selections, I feel the fun factor is the most important. You may have selected 10 totally different tables, but as with most ranked lists, it's all a matter of opinion. And I'll be honest here, picking 10 tables was incredibly easy, but ranking them was a lot harder, and on a different day I might have ranked them differently. With all that said, let's move on to number 10. Number 10, Doctor Strange. Long before the movie, Zen Studios released this table as a standalone release near the end of 2013. What I like about this table is how straightforward the gameplay is while having interesting missions that vary in style greatly. On top of that, the characters on this table are very animated as Doctor Strange battles Mordo, Nightmare, Dormammu, and Shuma Gorath. This is one of those tables I get a lot of enjoyment out of every time I go back and play it.
For decades I served the Ancient One. He promised me power. And now I shall take it from you!
Mordo, you fool! You betrayed the Ancient One!
Number 9, Champions. When I first started playing this table, I didn't like it very much, but I grew to enjoy this table quite a bit as I continued to play. Rather than have multiple missions to tackle, there's pretty much only one mission: get Bombshell and recover the stolen money. Instead of activating missions, you'll activate extra characters in an attempt to capture Bombshell. This is one of those tables that I just have fun experimenting with.
Now you've done it, Bombshell! I'll squish you!
I'm sure you'll get bored of this.
Number 8, Portal. Portal and Portal 2 are favorite games of mine, and I'm sure that's at least part of the reason I put this table on my list. Aside from the Ratsman Den sub-table mission, much of the game is making the same shots again and again. But add in the humorous comments from GLaDOS and watching Shell attempt to clear each room, among other things, is highly entertaining and it never gets old for me.
This next test involves turrets. You remember them, right? They're the pale spherical things that are full of bullets. Oh wait, that's you in 5 seconds. Good luck. Keep flying.
Number 7, Doom. I almost feel like I don't need to explain why the Doom table is on my top 10, but I also think that some people may feel like Doom should be higher on the list. But hey, this is just where I put it. Maybe I would have put it higher if I'd played the latest incarnation of Doom, but I haven't. Irregardless, I do have fun playing this table, and part of that is how the missions all feel very different from each other. Most of the missions do take quite a bit of time to finish, but it does feel very satisfying when something is accomplished successfully on this table.
Starting countdown.
Number 6, Alien Isolation. This table is based on a game of the same name, and even though I've never played the game or even seen an Alien movie, I have no hesitation putting this table on the list. The atmosphere this table provides is beyond excellent. The music is quiet during the tense moments and then ramps up when something's happening to promote a sense of urgency. The missions are pretty varied as well, and you always feel like you're doing something different with each one. I also get a kick out of the alien simply attacking Ripley when you fail to hide or fail some sort of mission. Number 5, South Park Super Sweet Pinball. South Park has been on the air for quite a long time at this point, and with so many memorable moments in the history of the show, it's amazing of how much was crammed into this table. At first I thought it was too much, but after playing the game several times, it started to get fun identifying all the references and discovering all the modes. But the thing that really elevates this table for me is the fact that all the game modes can be stacked. That means that you can start a game mode while in another game mode, and there doesn't seem to be any limit as to where it could end. It can all seem kind of chaotic, especially with the voice clips playing in rapid fire, but after a while, it'll all make sense.
Sure, come on in.
Timmy and I are competing in a variety of events.
No, it's just a dream. My mom said so. I'm winning.
Number 4, Star Wars Might of the First Order. There are a ton of Star Wars tables in Pinball FX2, but this is the only one I put on this list. This is easily my favorite of the bunch. The skill shot is fun, the music is great, there's a lot of different modes to go for on this table, as well as an interesting mechanic for locking the balls under the playfield. It's always a fun challenge during multi-ball to juggle balls in the mini playfield under the playfield while still keeping the balls on the main playfield in play. And I know it's such a small detail, but I absolutely can't get enough of the sound and DMD animation for a mystery reward.
Burn everything.
Yes, sir. With great pleasure.
You have your orders. Carry them out.
Number 3, SKYRIM. This table is far and away the most unique table on Pinball FX2. Making an RPG-based pinball game on one of the most popular RPGs in recent years could have been a total disaster, but this works. Well, aside from the clunky DMD menus you need to navigate. But once you get beyond that, you've got a table that begs to be played again and again as your adventure can be carried from game to game. And although Epic Quest did the same thing years earlier, this table takes things to the next level with character customizations, traveling to towns, equipping short and long range weapons, learning magic, lockpicking, and on and on and on and on. This is probably the only table where a huge score is not enough to succeed.
Skill increased.
Number 2, the Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, I feel I may have unfairly ranked this table higher than I should have, but at the same time, I don't think I could put it any lower. I was pretty much ignoring Pinball FX2 completely in favor of playing Pinball Arcade, and the reason for that was that Pinball Arcade was based on real tables, and Pinball FX2 was not. I had always viewed Pinball FX2 as a poor attempt of real pinball on completely fabricated tables that would never exist outside of the game. But then I played the Infinity Gauntlet and it completely changed my perspective on Pinball FX2. The Infinity Gauntlet was doing things that would never be possible on a real pinball machine, which made me rethink Pinball Arcade as a pinball simulation while viewing Pinball FX2 as video pinball. Two sides of the same coin. So now that I think about it, this was the table that made me realize how fun Pinball FX2 could be and started me down the path of deciding to do gameplays for every single table.
Yes! My strength is growing!
Number 1, Fear Itself. So here we are at the number 1 spot and I've chosen Fear Itself. This actually wasn't a hard decision for me to make. From the first moment I started playing this table, it became my favorite, even though I really don't know much about the event in comics, or am I even familiar with a lot of the characters in this table. It really doesn't matter to me. The thing about the table layout that really stands out is this loop behind the flippers, and it's fun to see the ball zoom around the playfield, especially during multi-ball. However, the thing that easily blasts this table into the number 1 spot for me is the audio. Speeches by the villains with deep and echoing voices combined with a really great, almost retro-inspired audio effects make this an awesome table just to listen to. As a side note, I'm just watching the footage for this right now and just noticed how good the DMD animations are as well. I don't know how other people feel about this table, but I've always enjoyed this one from the start and it wasn't hard for me to put this at number 1.
I now summon the worthy.
So there you guys go, my top 10 Pinball FX2 tables. I don't expect many people to agree with my choices, but like I said at the beginning, it's all opinion based anyway. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks everyone for watching.